Let's transition to the NFL and let's go to Dallas and let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys' recent moves that they made. The Dallas Cowboys have been busy, ladies and gentlemen. The Cowboys recently they acquired wide receiver Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans for 2 draft picks. They also acquired Stephon Gilmore as well. So the Dallas Cowboys, they are making some moves. So when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and how I feel about these recent moves that the Cowboys have made, I must admit, I am very, very, very impressed with the Dallas Cowboys offseason so far. I got to be honest. I believe that so far, the Dallas Cowboys are the biggest winners in the offseason so far. They have made some tremendous, tremendous moves that are going to make their football team better overall. Let's start off with the move that they made when they traded for Brandon Cooks. I believe that they addressed a major, major, major department on their offense that needed help. They addressed a need trading for Brandon Cooks because before last year, they had Amari Cooper and Jerry Jones didn't want to pay Amari Cooper the money that he wanted. So they traded Amari Cooper to the Cleveland Browns, and they had expectations last year for Michael Gallup returning from a recent season-ending injury the year prior. They expected Michael Gallup to step up and produce at a high level, and that just was not the case last year. And honestly, that was a part of the reason why I believe that Dak Prescott struggled, because he didn't have a reliable number 2 receiver to rely on. Last year, Michael Gallup, he only had 39 receptions, 424 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. And in the NFC divisional round playoff game between the Niners and the Cowboys, the 49ers, they beat the Cowboys 19-12. In that game, CeeDee Lamb had 10 receptions for 117 receiving yards. The next receiver was Noah Brown with 2 receptions for 21 receiving yards. So this is a major, major need for the Dallas Cowboys. They have to make moves during the offseason to help their receiving core, and they did just that, trading for Brandon Cooks. This was a great, great move by Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, because we heard last year Brandon Cooks, he wanted out of Houston. Last year, the Houston Texans, they weren't competing for the playoffs. They were a team that was trying to figure out if they have a quarterback in David Mills. So Brandon Cooks last year, he didn't even play the entire season last year. Last year, he had 57 receptions, 699 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. And last year, he played in only 13 games. 13 games last year. So he was checked out last year on the Houston Texans football team, and they weren't going anywhere. So for Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones to identify a receiver like Brandon Cooks, I believe that this is an upgrade over someone like an Odell Beckham, because Odell Beckham, you don't know if he's going to be 100% healthy the entire season. And DeAndre Hopkins, who's also on the trading block right now in Arizona, he's going to be significantly more expensive than Brandon Cooks is. And also, I thought Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones did a great job, because the Texans are going to pay $6 million of the $18 million that Brandon Cooks is supposed to get paid this year. So he's supposed to get $18 million this year. The Texans are going to pay $6 million of that 18. So the Cowboys only have to pay $12 million to Brandon Cooks this upcoming season. So Cooks is cheaper than DeAndre Hopkins is, and durability is not going to be an issue for Brandon Cooks like it would be for an Odell Beckham. So I like this move offensively for the Dallas Cowboys. And I thought last year, one of the reasons why their offense struggled at times was because they didn't have a reliable number 2 receiver. Now, statistically last year, the Cowboys, they were ranked 4th in the NFL. They averaged 28 points per game, and they converted on 46% on their third down plays, which was ranked 5th in the NFL. So they did a great job putting up points even without a reliable number 2 receiver to depend on. But Brandon Cooks is going to help them significantly as far as in their passing game. He's a great deep threat. And you look at what he's been able to do so far in his career, only Mike Evans and Travis Kelce have more 1,000-yard seasons since 2015. Mike Evans has 8 1,000-yard seasons. Travis Kelce has 7 1,000-yard seasons since 2015. Brandon Cooks has 6. And this is a player who's been on the move. I think he's been traded the most, more than any other player in his career. I think only Eric Dickerson's been traded more than Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, he was drafted by the Saints in 2017, got traded to the Patriots. Then he went from the Patriots to the Rams in 2018. And 2020, he went from the Rams to the Texans. And now he's going from the Texans to the Cowboys in 2023. So I definitely like this move for the Dallas Cowboys offensively. I really, really do. You're going to get Tony Pollard back. Tony Pollard did injure his leg in the playoff game against the 49ers. So you may be without Tony Pollard the first few games of the season, but at some point, Tony Pollard will come back, and he's going to be an important piece to this Cowboys offense. Last year, Tony Pollard, 193 carries, 1,007 rushing yards, averaging over 5 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns. And now he's going to get majority of the carries because Ezekiel Elliott is no longer on the team. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Tony Pollard can be a true number 1 running back in this Cowboys offense, and if he can help this offense flow at a high level. I like his ability also to catch the ball out of the backfield. I really, really do. Last year, Tony Pollard, he had 39 receptions, 371 receiving yards out of the backfield for the Cowboys. So I want to see, and Mike McCarthy already said, he said that he wants to run the football more with Tony Pollard and his running backs this upcoming season. And I think that's going to help Dak. Because last year, Dak, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 2,860 passing yards. He threw too many damn interceptions last year. He just threw way too many interceptions. Now, when you flip to the defensive side of the ball, they are led by defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. And trading for Stephon Gilmore is going to really, really help this Cowboys defense. Defensively up front, you already have DeMarcus Lawrence. You still got Micah Parsons, who I believe he's arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. You still got Leighton Vander Esch. And at your other cornerback spot, you got Trayvon Diggs. So you're going to team up Stephon Gilmore on the opposite side of Trayvon Diggs. I like that 1-2 punch at the cornerback position for the Dallas Cowboys. I really, really do. Because Trayvon Diggs is better than Stephon Gilmore is, but Stephon Gilmore is still one of the best DBs in the NFL. And the only reason why I'm saying that Trayvon Diggs is better currently than Trayvon Diggs is, the only reason why I'm saying Trayvon Diggs is better than Stephon Gilmore is because Gilmore is at the latter part of his career. He's no longer in the prime of his career, but he still can produce. And he was on a Colts team that won't be contending for the playoffs this upcoming season. So I like both of these moves from the Dallas Cowboys, going out and getting 2 players who were on teams that were not playoff contenders in the Colts and the Texans. These trades, trading for Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks is definitely going to help the Cowboys catch the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East. I'm not going to do my predictions right now, but I think the NFC East is no longer the Philadelphia Eagles division to lose. I think now the Cowboys have definitely closed that gap between them and the Philadelphia Eagles.